All right, so for our A3 drawings, we can either go File, New, or New, and we're just going to stay with the default drawing now. So when you go into the standard sheet size, A0 is the biggest. It's like an E size, D or E size. It's huge. So we want to go to A4. Well, that one's portrait. A3. Maybe, how about we just uncheck the only show standard formats and we'll go back to ANSI landscape. All right, that's probably going to be a little more familiar. And we go ahead and hit OK. All right, so I can browse to documents and bring in the Open 3-12. It's going to put us into the model view. And if we stay with this for now, we'll do the create multiple views. And typically I'm going to want my 3 views and an isometric. So we'll go ahead and accept. And scale-wise, it's a little bit large, so I think maybe we'll be okay for the 3 views, but the isometric want to open up a little bit more room. So if I need to scale, I'm going to pick the view. I see the outline. And over in the property manager, we're going to be able to go to a custom scale and make it half size. Okay, and then put in position. The drawings or the drawing views are aligned to each other, so the top view will move up and down, the right view will move left to right, and both views will follow the front view. When we go to apply our dimensions, we'll jump into annotation and follow the basic rules, but I'm not too concerned about those right now. So just throw some dimensions on, kind of get used to the sequence. And we'll put one there and one there. And since this is not on center line, oh, actually, let's put one, oh, it is selecting that, so we would have to go line to line. I kind of want the extension lines to be to the outside edge. We're not going to make any modifications, so it is one when it pops up, the little box will give you all of the information and the parameters a little bit quicker. So same thing, it's going to select the whole length. Let's go ahead and put it in as the length. Since we can't really see anything with that angle, we don't necessarily want to dimension to a hidden line. Let's see, do I have enough geometry? You could probably discern that from the isometric view. So if I were to put a 5 there and a 5 there, we wouldn't necessarily have to worry about making the other views. So at this point, we can save it as the P3-12 one. All right, and that becomes a standard view or a standard drawing document. All right, if I want to do drawing packages, if we do all standalones, I would just go through, open up open up a drawing, open up each part, throw some dimensions on it, and it's ready to go. If we want to make a drawing package, however, we'll do new drawing. It'll stay modal on the only show standard formats being unchecked, and I can pick on the ANSI. We're going to go pull 314, and I would like, since we're doing it this way, we're just going to stay, and I'll introduce more in different ways as we get further into creating the drawings. All right, so my views, I think these are going to be a little bit big, so maybe the isometric goes to 1/2. And then to open up a little more room across the bottom, well, 1/2 is going to be a little small for everything. I probably only need to shrink it a little bit, so user defined, and I can put in, let's go to 3/4 scale. All right, so just enough to maybe make those dimensions a little bit easier. All right, so 13, 18, and overall height 40. You can put in up the step. 20 will work there. We'll put some in the top view. Kind of the rule is that if you don't have any dimensions in a view, you really didn't need the view. So 5. See, we'll go with the 20. We'll set that to 45. The rapid dimensioning is getting in the way, so when that little when those little circles pop up, I will usually turn those off. No great advantage to rapid dimensioning right now. And since we've already had the conversation on the fully define the sketches, yes, there is a fully or not fully defined. There is an auto dimension. It's going to take the dimensions that you generated from the sketch, and pretty much that's what you're going to get. So it is a hit and miss kind of thing. As do you do more corrections than if you just gone ahead and dimensioned it yourself? All right, so we have the 40 over there. We had the 105. Let's see, what other angles did we need? The 60. All right, so that one's going to be maybe a little trickier. If I want it to the outside, I'm going to have to place it and then move the dimension a little bit. That doesn't look too bad. I'm going to try and line those up a little bit, but not really necessary. All right, we could possibly put the 45 on the other side. I'm not seeing anything too terrible here, so we'll continue by adding another sheet. All right, so my iterative process here would be typically to go through and add all of the views into the drawing, so I can kind of get a sense of the scale and what's being generated. That one doesn't look too bad. Did it stay? Oh, it went to 10 to 1. All right, so this being the super micro, 10 to 1 seems pretty realistic. Go back into the model view. We'll grab the next one, which will be our revolve. And probably won't need all 3 views, so let's do the front, the right, and the isometric. And typically for a working drawing, we're not going to, well, I guess we are going to need a front view, so this would be a good place to go in, or the top view. We're going to need to locate for that one. And to help with the view, my preference is to only use the hidden lines when it adds value. Since that one didn't show up with any hidden lines, apparently the parent style got turned off. So we'll do the parent style. All right, and then the last sheet in this package is going to be for 36. Create the multiple views. Let it place them. Again, not too bad. The 1/2 should be about right. And given that view, and kind of see the step. All right, so going through and dimensioning, I'm going to leave one of these for you. So let's leave this one. Put the basic dimensions, angles, shapes on that item. The revolve and the diameters we'll go ahead with. Now this did not generate center lines. Center line would just be through the middle, so I don't know that that's really necessary, but arcs are going to generate our radius. And since we have pretty much all arcs, we're going to get a bunch of radiuses. So we'll go 10 that way, and 6 that way, and 6 that way. All right, our distances, and doesn't necessarily have to look like the drawing in this case, or the model that we generated the shape from. So let's see, 40, 60, 20. We have the steps, we have the diameters, do not have the diameter for that one. Let's zoom in a little bit, escape one time since it got the center mark and not the radius, since those are in different views. Probably would go with the individual. All right, so something that's just basic, representative of the part. One thing of note, if I want to switch those to diameter, we're going to right click and the second icon in the upper row. All right, so somewhere in here, let's see if I can find it. Nope, not seeing it, so I'll have to come back to that one. I mentioned the auto dimension. You're going to be better off anyway to go ahead and dimension these yourself. But when we find it, locate it, then we'll see what it results. Oh, yeah, it was under the insert. So drawing, annotations, model items. There we go. Bring in dimensions. Here's where that logic comes in for not marked for drawing and marked for drawing. If everything's marked for the drawing, then why do we have a not marked for drawing? Because it's just a mix. So selected feature, entire model, items into all views. All right, so if we can clean this mess up and it details what we want with enough of a view, then we can stay with it. But most of the time, my comment is always, you design for convenience, and then when you create the drawing, you're thinking in terms of manufacturing. So the manufacturing on this, and don't know why I have two of those, we'll kind of figure this out, but you can give it a shot and it does go pretty quick, but there are limitations. And typically, I'm not a big fan of those automated processes that dump a bunch of dimensions and are not something that I would want to manufacture too. So, all right, so we have our drawing sheets. You can do singles, you can do packages, whichever way you want to approach. We can switch the dimensions and just kind of tinker and get used to the process of adding the dimensions and creating the details.